Sorry about that. All right. We are good now. So ultimately what happened was I was trying to essentially go through Restream's servers in a different way, where instead of like logging in through OBS, I was just pointing to the URL in my stream key, and it was capping my bit rate at like 3,500. So anyway, this is better. Okay. Ultimately, that's pretty good. Okay, so let me get set back up here. One moment. Alrighty. And oh my goodness. Okay. This is already a train wreck of a stream. Okay. I think this is fine. Everything's great. Okay. So that's all working now. So ultimately, I'm just replacing animations, just jumping right back in here with Tweens. So this is pretty straightforward. So if you see this function down here, all these bars here, these UI elements used to be controlled by animations. Problem is if I made the window real big, right? They would not follow their anchor positions, right? They would essentially either get eaten up by the border or they would stay in the middle. So now they follow the positions, which is great. But I've got to adjust all of them to Tweens so that I can control them a little better. So just gonna be hanging out. Should be pretty good. Okay. Everything looks better in terms of stream quality. So hopefully this is just a overall better experience for everyone involved. Yeah, and with that, let's get started here. Okay. So, to get started, basically it's gonna be pretty chill. I'm just gonna kind of just walk through and start replacing these. I first have to get the function set up, this tween slide. The goal will be to, at the end of each one, this animation player over here, we'll be able to delete those for each animation or for each element. When they're all deleted, we know we're done. So in the meantime, I'll answer questions, hang out, and go from there. With that, let's go. Okay, so this is going to be the confirmation button. I have to do something a little special here. I don't think it'll be too hard, but I do need to essentially get the center of the screen. Like the ones on the outside are pretty easy because I can just look at the offset to the right side or left side. But it's gonna be a little bit different here. Not bad, just a little different. So ultimately, first off, I think this is my function I need, which just looks like that. I'm gonna go to output so we can see that. Play. Okay. So this is gonna be the center. Okay, ultimately that gives me the center of the screen. So then what I could do, I need to set the location of this, which I can come here, I can go to remote, and I can go look at what the location of this is, which is really helpful. So then if I go over here, I can see the position here is 316. Which is 100 off of center, which is interesting. I think that's just a coincidence. Like if I make this bigger, the position is now 700. So is it always centered? That's the question. It's always 100 off center. We can see, if you look down here, this is 800, right? That says 700. And I'm guessing it's because it's size 200. So that is super helpful information. So then what I could do, essentially center, we can say center location equals this minus 100, right? And what I can do is just confirm that. get center dot x minus 100, and then print center location. I'll save, then it should just print the center location here. And oh, well, I guess I need to call this function. So tween slide is what we'll call it. Here's the deal. Let's do this because everything's gonna break. So I'm gonna go ahead and comment these out. I just want to do this one thing at a time. So first, let's just print the center. I do think this is gonna go pretty quickly, but let's, I don't want to break something in the meantime. So we'll we'll run tween slide, which sounds like a dance. So we'll run tween slide and then slide in. So we'll say true. Doesn't matter, it's just a Boolean value. Okay, perfect. All right, save. Now I'm getting 316. If I look over here, matches this position, which is good. Because now what I can do is start deleting some of these comments I just added and basically say, hey, if slide in, set slide distance equals to center location. Otherwise, set it to the slide constant, which should be how far it has to slide out. That is a exported variable I have over here, which I have is 500. I gotta think through that. So let me think real quick. I want it to be, the reason this is a little bit harder is what I need to do is this needs to be dynamic, right? For the slide on the right, it's really easy because I just slide it out that far. I probably want to go like 250 would make sense because it's going to be the right. So what I would do then is, let's turn these back off for a second. I want everything to slide off the right side of the screen. I don't know why. It's just what I want to happen. So let's print. Let's see. We'll do var right location equals get viewport dot rect or viewport rect dot. So we got get area, get center, grow side, intersection, position, size. Hey, Loki Trickster. Thanks. Glad to be back. Yeah, I had a weird OBS issue. It's still telling me I've got a bad bit rate, but my bit rate's, I don't think bad. It says it's a little unstable, but I'm not sure why. Tell me if my thing is choppy. But it says I'm at like 7,000 kbps. And OBS tells me I'm good, YouTube tells me I'm good, but Twitch is telling me I'm not good. But it was capped at like 3,400. I'm not sure why it was capped at. So if I start getting choppy, let me know. So far, I haven't dropped any frames. Everything looks good except for this one stat from Twitch. I just bumped my kbps way up. So we'll see what happens, you know? Ultimately, I'm not too worried about my internet. I think it's fine. It is, I will say it's not like 100% stable, but I'm sending so much data. Sorry, opening a can here on stream. I can't imagine it's dropping much. It's pretty wide open data. Okay, so when I get this, I really want the width, but I know the width is a constructor of a rectangle. I don't think it's a property. So let's see. Good. I am glad that it's fine. Let's see. So this should be pretty easy because I'm fairly confident that there's a, let's see. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think that's what I went to. I guess, yeah, let's look at that. And then let me go to rect2. So this is what I have. I should be able to get the width of it. What's the end? Ending point, usually bottom right corner. That's perfect. Yes. That is what I want. So I can get dot end dot x. That's gonna get the right location, bottom right side. Okay. That's good. Now let's print right location. Let's save that so I can see what we get here. Okay, so now I'm getting 832 and 316. 832. Let's see, and that modifies when I make this big. I know you can't really see that I made it big, but I did make it big. Yes. And it looks good. Okay. So then what I'll do is I can start deleting these comments. So ultimately, I just need to create a tween. We'll call it slide tween. That's good. I want this to ease out, which essentially is just the way the curve looks. And then tween property. Do I want to offset right? I don't think so. I think I want to go position. Self position dot position. Let's see, we can go position X. And we want this to be, we want to set it to slide distance. That's good. Okay, so when I slide in, I want to go to center location. And when I slide out, I actually want to go to right location plus slide constant. Now when I save, this is true. So it's going to slide in. Let me set it to false so it slides out. False. Okay. Let's see. Okay, it disappeared, which is good. Now let's save and watch it slide in. I mean, it's probably pretty instant, so. All right, that's pretty decent. The curve isn't great. I mean, it kind of like swoops in. Maybe I need to accelerate that a little faster, but I think it's okay for now. Now what I can do, so you see some of these are like play backwards and some are play forwards. The play backwards ones are when I use my animation player, I want to use the same, like it to look the same both ways. I have everything deleted now, but essentially you can play that backwards. So I don't have that anymore, but that's why I have the Boolean as part of the slide, the tween slide. So I just do tween slide false, right? And so when I do tween slide false, it slides out. So this is pretty easy. All I have to do then is replace the plays with true, and the play backwards is with false. So that's pretty easy. All right, that I think is all of them. Let's save, and let's test this out. Just kind of run. All right, so it did not slide out when I confirmed the toggle button. Why did it not? Oh, because I have this process here. So let's comment that out, pass on that. All right. Okay. Oh, it crashed. That's all right. So that's a feature in Godot where basically you can make updates on the fly, and it works pretty good, honestly. It's not bad at all. Yeah, Godot does crash though when you use it. Sometimes that happens if you're making too many changes, but ultimately, yeah. So this is good because now we get a test, and it does when the game starts. It's not there. Notice I can resize my screen and everything kind of follows. I need to resize the components, but I don't have that yet. So yeah, so then let's do like a sword skill. Let's do fire and do burning blade. Okay, select, and you see it comes in, which is good. Confirm, it slides back out with everything else. All right, that looks pretty good. Okay, let me do an attack. Confirm, okay, that looks good. Oh, one thing is I need to check the font size. I can do that later. Basically, the font size doesn't change with Windows screen change. That's okay though. I'm just used to seeing one size font. Okay, let me do a move. Confirm. Okay. That looks pretty good. Looks great. Okay, so far, confirm seems to be working pretty well. Let's cancel. Let's make sure that when I cancel something, it goes away. Okay. Good, and when I hit the cancel button on my controller, perfect. Okay, I think we got that one out of the way. That was a pretty easy one. Next, let me make something nice to look at while I go to the next thing here. All right. So we'll just kind of hang out there for a second. All right, so the next one we'll do is this one on the bottom left. This is the target window. So we'll get, first, actually, I should be able to delete this. It's gonna crash, almost positively. Maybe not, okay. It will crash before too long. I just deleted a animation node. All right, let's go look at target info now. And let's see. So I need to do the same thing here. Ultimately, I can go, the code's gonna look nearly identical. The only difference is where I pull the info from. Because all these animations are functionally the same. I'm gonna need to create, slide tween. Okay, and then export the variable for slide constant. And then I needed that to be an int. That's basically how far off the screen I take it when I slide something off, past the point that it's calculated. So let me go here. And this is, how big is this? It's like 200, so I'll just pull it to like 250. Okay. It is relative. I'm curious. Yeah, that's a problem. I just realized. So let me see if you can see this. Okay, see on the right over there? I realized I'm setting absolute positions. So I set position instead of offset. I need to instead change offset. So let me go back to that one. We didn't do enough testing. This is where robustness testing is so important. Okay. Let me go back to the last one, which we apparently haven't finished yet. This one should be pretty easy though. All I need to do is instead of right location, I think I worked too hard on this. Yeah, I absolutely worked too hard on this. So all I really need to do is if it's sliding in, then set it like this. And if it's sliding out, set the offset. Offset right by slide constant. I don't even need slide distance in this one here. Okay, is that all I need to do? I think so. I'm not calculating slide distance anymore, so this actually should be center location. And I can get location. I can get rid of these. It crashed. See? I knew it. I knew it. All right. Okay. I need to get a new splash page for this. This is not all that interesting, though it is nice to see that I'm using Godot, I guess. It doesn't like tween property in base nil. Did I make this slide tween? Which is right. It liked this one, but it didn't like this one. Why is that? I didn't run into that before. I guess I am technically killing it before, but I haven't had that problem before. Like on this other one, right? Like if I go back to my player info. Oh, never mind. Nope. I do need to create it first. I just got it out of order. So let's go back. Basically, these need to go above this. Easy enough. Just a small oversight. Try it again. All right. Very, very small oversight. Cool. All right, didn't crash. But all my menus popped up in the wrong spot. Really just confirm selection. But I did just make a major change to how it pops up. So, oh, and it's slightly off-centered. Let's see, is it not dynamic now? No, it is. Let's see. So what happened there? Ultimately, I stopped printing. And apparently that's the problem. Let me make this small so you guys can see it. All right. So what did I do here? I no longer have this. Let's see if I attack, does it go away? No. Okay, so it's no longer sliding out, which I did change pretty significantly how I was doing this. I started changing offset right. Which I think offset right's good. I like that property to change here. Did I do it right? Okay, so I have slide distance. Did I lose my... No, it's still 250. So basically what I'm saying here is set offset right to 250 if slide out. Or slide ins if it's not slide in, I guess. Which I think should be correct. Otherwise, go to center location. Now this is, I'm kind of thinking, like if I do this, because that doesn't look centered to me. So then I like use the confirmation select. Okay, maybe that is centered. Okay, it doesn't like this much though. It's definitely not centered. You know where I messed up? I messed up because I stopped printing center location. Let's start printing that again. Okay, now if I... Okay, so 260. And then let's check on my remote side and see. I mean, I know it's going to be 260. But let's see if we can get it looking a little better here. Actually confirm 260. Okay. Oh, the size got bigger. Wait a second. Why? Why did it get bigger? What? Am I setting the size instead of... If I go... Maybe I accidentally... No, look at this. So, no, target info. I'm sorry. Action confirm. Action confirm was 200. My window. Right? In the remote screen, action confirm is 350. If I make this 200 again, it's centered. What happened? Why? What changed the size of the window? I don't think I have any... I mean, maybe offset right. Here, I can check. Yeah, offset right. It's changing the size. But why is that? And is 350 the... What I have as the constant? No, I have 250. I'm solidified. This is a dilemma. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I use offset right in so many other places, right? By so many other, I mean one. But I use offset right in that one place, and it works really well. Why wouldn't it work? Here. I'm using it the same way. Yeah. Let's print. Okay, so let's print center location, comma, offset right. The way this should work is it should look at, hey, how far off right am I offset from this? So now if I go to attack, okay, offset is 250. Interesting. Okay. I think I understand it. I think it's 250 because this is how it's centered. Like it's centered there. So I think what I need to do. I can't set it dynamic. Very, very interesting. One thing I could do is make it not visible. So if you change the thing, because I don't want to set up a bunch of code where it's like, I could make it so when it's resized, it would be really easy when the window gets resized to basically send a signal to this command to say, hey, if it resizes, recalculate and move the button. You know what, actually? I think I can do this easier than that, though. Basically, I think I could say when I'm moving, after the slide tween, let's see, I don't know if there's a clean way to do this or if it works this way. I've never tried this. So let's try it. What I want to do is take anchor's preset. Anchor's preset equals right. Anchor right, is that it? Anchor is the right edge of the node to the origin. Oh, okay. Is that all I'd have to do is say set anchor right? So maybe set anchor right. And this one, set anchor right, maybe. Too few, it needs at least 2. So what, it wants like, does it? Because it 100% says value. Okay. Maybe I'm making this too complicated. Maybe the best way is just to set the position, and when the window resizes, reset the position. I want to do this in fewer lines of code, though. It's like a challenge. Expected at least 2 for set anchor, which is really interesting. Okay, maybe I don't want to do that. Okay. So yeah, so what's happening? It's 250 pixels offset from center. So ultimately, I don't want that. I could throw it way off screen, but that's kind of cheating. I just need to be dynamic about it. Let's see. How do I want to do this? It would kind of look, I think it would end up looking choppy anyway. I think it would start going that direction, and then it would latch to the right side and then keep going that direction, which I don't want. So this is fine. Okay, offset right's probably okay though. But what I think I want to do is say, I mean, it'd be easy just to go like 4,000 or something, right? But then when someone has a 4K monitor, it's the problem. You never know what size monitor people are going to have. It would break. I want to keep this dynamic. Let's see here. You know what? I think as a good solution actually is to go back to what I was doing here. So get viewport rect dot end dot x plus slide const, right? And then set visibility equals false. Visible. Toggle. Let's see what this actually is called. I thought it was visible. It is visible. Did I spell visible wrong? Visibile. Visibile. Perfect. Visible equals false. That was my Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. Then I can turn it back on. The problem, I think the only problem I would run into here. Okay, so save this. I'll show you what I'll run into here. Pretty minor, I think, in the grand scheme of things. Is I think this works at least for a demo. Okay, so attack. Oh, first off, it's not popping up at all now. Offset is 970. Oh, I need to set the offset back to 0. Okay, so now I could just use offset right. So instead of this mess, baby, I can set this equal to 0. Which does prevent me from having to do some calculations, actually. Which I like. I like fewer calculations. All right, but then what I can do is I can say, I can take this. It's gonna look a little wild for a second. It'll all make sense. Okay. And then I can set slide distance equals this. And slide, oops. Slide distance on this. And then all I have to do here is say slide equals 0. Okay, so here's the problem I just realized is that it's just going to disappear. So I do think I'm close, but it's going to disappear because that's what happens, right? I mean, whenever you, like if I hit cancel, right, it just disappears, which may be okay. Like it slides in, maybe that's the right move is for it to just disappear. Wow, it's not happy. I absolutely think it crashed again. I absolutely think it needs to slide in. Then the question is, does it need to slide out? And I don't know the answer to that one. Like maybe sliding out isn't all that important. When you click it, if it slides in, it gets your attention, right? Gets your attention to say, hey, I need to do something here, right? I need to go make a selection in this box. And that's super important. What's less important is what happens to it afterwards. So if I attack, it slides in. Actually, it's slid in a little to the left for some reason. Why is that? Slide distance is 0. Huh. All right, that's fine for now. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's not a little to the left. My viewport was obscured. Wait, it looks a little to the left, right? It is not centered. Let's go back to printing the center. Let's print offset right. All right. 1054. 0. 1054. Okay, so it prints it before it moves it, but it does move to 0. Let's look at position here. I don't think that's quite right. I think I had better luck with the calculation I was doing. But let's look at this. Yeah, so now this, well, the size changed again. If I change this to 200. Okay, so I think what I learned is offset right, maybe changing the size, or maybe, you know, maybe simpler than that. I might have just some sort of dynamic size on this. I don't think I want that. I don't see any sort of dynamic size like grow to fit, shrink to fit. Pretty strange. I think I've got to avoid using offset though. I don't think that's doing me much good here. Get back to where I was here. I think I was really close before. I probably just need to throw it off the screen. Okay. Go back to this. Okay. Go back down here. Okay, that looks pretty good, except... Hey, White Boss Gamer. How's it going? I gotta think... I need it to disappear. Yeah, maybe it's okay. Let's check this. Okay. So that's... It's gonna crash again. That's okay. It doesn't like when I'm changing this code live. All right. It does same time though, so I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'm trying to replace animations with Tweens. Nice. Well, congrats. Very nice. Well, I'm glad that worked out. I'm glad you feel like you did pretty well. Not meaning to get in there. Either way, glad you're free. But yeah, essentially, see this menu here? Looks good, right? Looks great until you expand. Everything else is moving with it. I know you can't see this, but just off the edge here, if I go full screen, just off the edge here is that confirm selection. So I tried a few things. Good. I'm glad. So what I've tried is just making it disappear, like turning it off. When I do it, the problem is like I don't really get feedback from this tween. I guess I could. There's probably like a, hey, when slide tween completes, and then I could just change it from visible to invisible. Let's check this documentation and see if that's the case. I'm gonna move this back out of the way so you guys can read this documentation. If I'm reading documentation, y'all are gonna read it with me. Is running. So what I could say is, hey, is it running? Just during the thing, right? And then when it's not running, if the position of the node, you know what? I'm making this too complicated. I mean, I probably should do that. Or just say, hey, if you're off the screen, disappear. But these are so light in terms of memory. What I really need to do, I think, is what I talked about doing, and that's just when I resize this, just pass a signal over to this node. My scene's getting pretty big. When I resize this, pass the signal over to the node. This is going to be one of the unique ones. The center ones are unique. The spell at the top, I think I'm just going to have appear and disappear. I don't even think I need animations for it. So when it's resized, if position, so let's see. If position dot x does not equal this. And let me check something. When I resize it, does the, I just realized the, no, oh, well, I don't know. No, it stays the same. So yeah, I had to do with the offset. Okay. So when position.x does not equal that, if I resize it, so basically if it's not in the middle, it's in the middle, stay in the middle. Middle is good. Actually, let me test this real quick. If I pull that up and then I resize, yes, it stays in the middle, which is what I want. Okay, so if it's not in the middle, what I want to do is I want to say position equals get viewport rect dot end dot x plus specifically position dot x plus slide const. Okay, so let's save that. All right, so then what happens now if I slide that off and I resize the port? Oh, it's still there. Okay, let me reset though, because signals might get baked at the time runtime. So let me try that again. All right, so let's see. All right, let me move this over here. So attack, that comes up. I go full screen. Perfect. Okay, let me make it small and do the same thing. Attack. Oh man. Oh, I broke it. Okay, well, interesting. The I mean, it's in the center X. I'm not even changing the Y. What in the world? I'm guessing the Y size changed. Why do my things? No, the Y size didn't change. What? Am I changing Y somewhere? Nope. This is wild. All right. Well, okay, let's send it back off screen. And we go full screen here. Okay, at least it's off the screen. But I don't know why it decided to go to the bottom of the screen. Hey, BWAG, how's it going? I'm working on window resizing a little bit and changing animations to tweens. Kind of interesting stuff. I don't know why I'm having these issues, but it's fine. Everything's good. Okay, so ultimately though, that looks good. That's where it should be. When I send it back off, I go full screen. That's good. It's not there, right? When I attack now, it's a little high. So I think it's because I'm setting the position, but I'm just changing the X position, not even the Y position. So let's see if I make it real small here. Then attack. It's at the bottom of the screen. So I think ultimately the Y is not changing. So I probably need to set the Y as well. Just if I reset it, this should be pretty easy. Just do position.y equals get viewport.y, right? Divided by 2. I think that's all I have to do. Save it. And then let's try this again. Okay, so you see it's down there. Now when I change the screen size, okay, it's in the middle. It disappeared. Okay, but it is in the middle now. But why, when I resize, why is it disappearing? So ultimately, it should set my Y position. I know I'm covering up the whole screen, but it should set my Y position to the viewport divided by 2. Let's print that real quick. Print position.y, and then print get viewport rect dot n dot y divided by 2. Okay. Let's see. So now when I change this 438.5, let me check. I know you can't see this for a second. The window size. Oh, interesting. Okay. My UI control is not changing size with me. So if I look here, let me move this out of the way. So if I look down here at UI control, ultimately these are my remote nodes. If we look up here at window size, it does not change based on window size, which I'm a little bit surprised about. I thought it did. So I think it's interesting that it doesn't. Okay. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that this still works. Ooh, opcode 45. That was a soft crash. Okay, so ultimately though, I think that's mostly okay. I think I can do something very simple here. Basically, I want that UI screen to cover up the whole screen, right? So what I can do is, okay, it's already set to full rect. Yeah, and the size is this, so I'm actually really surprised that it wasn't changing. Let me try this again. It could have just been too that I was changing the script. When I change the script, it gets a little bit wonky, and it could break it. Because I'm really surprised that being that the anchor is full rect, I'm surprised it's not changing in size with modifications there. So let me go back to remote. Okay, ultimately right now, the size is 1152 by 555. If I go full screen, yeah, 1600 by 877. So it is changing. That's good. Okay, so ultimately let's change this down to this. It saves me a couple lines of code, no big deal. Okay, so let's attack here. Okay, that is not quite centered. But it's kind of scrunchy, so let's move it up here and make this bigger. Is it always in that location? All right, sounds good. Hey, it's good to talk to you as always, White Boss Gamer. Hope you have a great day today. But yeah, good catch you. Thanks for stopping in. Yeah, I think it's always at the location, so I think we're good now. Now let's check whether when I resize it stays there. It doesn't, which is interesting. I should be setting that explicitly. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so I am setting. Okay, I say if this. Okay, but I don't say what to do if it is, right? So if it is, this, I guess I could just do else. Put it in the middle. Okay. Okay, now if I resize down, it didn't work. 165.5, which I imagine is the halfway point here. Yeah, 165.5 is the halfway on the Y. So it did work in terms of calculating it correctly. Oh, you know what? I do need to subtract 100 from this. Let's see. So this position is still 1076. Okay. I guess I could do a tween here. I don't think I want to, though. I think when I resize, I want it to instantly change. So Y, let's see. So that looks correct. Position.Y. Oh, okay, I see. So let me do position.X. And do that divided by 2. Okay. 438.5, which I guess is the pre. Okay, so this position is 1850. So it's off still quite a bit. Okay. Excuse me. Let me make sure I'm not missing. No, I know I'm not. Fun stuff. Let's see here. Let's think. Okay. For the 438.5 is good. You know what? Let's I think I got to do this. I think if I add in a wait till the next frame and then do those calculations, I think that gets us there. What I'm expecting is going on is it's just trying to calculate it immediately. And the issue with doing that is that it's not registering that the viewport changed size. Make a William horror game. You know, maybe one day. Not today, but maybe one day. But, you know, I think you could make a William horror game, and that'd be cool. You know, maybe we can call one of the characters William, and we can put him in some sort of situation that's pretty scary. See, I'm just gonna wait a frame. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad that satisfied your requirements. Okay, so let's see. So there, that looks good. And then now when I expand, nope, still. Oh, I didn't save, I don't think. All right, let's save this. All right, that's saved. So now when I do this, it's in the middle. Expand, no. Let's see, let me think. So why is, let me check something real quick. So when I do this, and then I'll make it just a little bit bigger here, instead of a whole lot bigger. So it gets thrown out. Okay, that is good to know, that it's not really, it gets thrown out majorly. So let me go to remote, and let me modify this to what it needs to be. Let me modify it to what I think it should be, which is 302 on the X. That's setting the Y to 302. Is that what should be happening? Let's see. Okay. So it's setting the Y to 302. This is 304, so that's accurate. So it is setting the Y position correctly, but it's not setting the X position correctly. This X set position is setting to 1,334 when it should be setting it to 542. So if I set this to 542, I'm sorry, it should be setting it to 442. That's correct. I don't like how low this is, but we'll deal with that next. I don't think it's actually centered. Centered should be here. Okay. So let's see. Ultimately, that's position.x equals get n.x divided by 2. I am printing this position, but it's printing the y position, which tells me that this condition wasn't met. Okay. If that condition is not met, then essentially, so if I resize here. Oh, okay. So now it's printing the X position, right? Yeah, 1523 and 636.5. Okay. Hey, Zed. Doing pretty good. Just kind of working some unexpected bugs here. I'm running into some unexpected problems implementing some tweens, which are essentially animations in Godot without using the animation player. These all used to be animation player items, and I'm trying to switch them into tweens so I can modify them a little easier in software here and have a dynamic UI. I'm going to close that because it's getting real choppy. Okay. So interestingly, my X position isn't getting set. It could be because the anchor, I wonder if there's like a refresh anchor button. Okay, so there's a couple things going on with these nodes. One, they have an anchor on them. Let's go to the node. So it has an anchor on it, right? And the anchor's in the center. And that's really how it's laid out. Position really isn't... Oops. Position is really based on the anchor preset. Like if I move to top left, right? It does change position, but it's based on this anchor. Maybe I shouldn't be changing position as much for that reason. So like this, I'm trying to resize it because essentially when I throw it off screen, it gets angry and can essentially, when I resize the window back up, you can see the edge of it because it's not getting thrown off far enough. A couple ways to solve that. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of fine tuning there. And yeah, the fine tuning bits are some of the harder parts, right? Like I think you can rough cut code really quickly to go try to get to a point where like things work, right? Oh, it doesn't like this process frame, which is very interesting. Huh. Okay. That is probably because, well, there is a process. Yeah, why wouldn't it like the process frame? Okay. I use those a lot in software to wait for the next frame, so I'm really surprised it doesn't like that. But we'll comment them out. It could have to do with being a control node. Interesting. That's okay. All right, so ultimately though, so this, I mean, this looks good, right? First glance, you're like, yeah, that looks great. Like, what are you talking about? The problem, see this now? If I pull this over here and I make this big, well, it kind of works. Okay, so then if I take this and I make it small, see, when I resize, it disappears. And that's in this code. I mean, I coded this to avoid this problem. And I think it's actually doing this every time, which probably makes sense. So maybe what I need to do is instead have, I could make this a little simpler. Basically, I could say like var, like I have just a Boolean here for slide in, right? Like just a Boolean we'll call it slide in. Unless I'm using slide in somewhere else. I am using slide in somewhere else. Okay, yeah, let's not call it slide in. We'll call it slide status. Or slide in status. And it's gonna be a Boolean. Basically true, false. And then what I can do is come down here and I can, when I slide in status equals true. When I slide out, slide in status equals false. Because I think where it's calculated the viewport, this doesn't match. So then I can say if slide in status. So if that's true, if it's slid in, let's do not, just because so I have to move this around. Then do this. Otherwise, do this. And I think, I feel pretty confident. I have gonna give this a 75% chance of working. Let's see. And then I resize. Well, hey, look at that. Perfect. I feel like that needs to be a little higher. Yeah, look at that. That looks great. Who would have thought that'd be so hard? And then I want to raise it a little bit higher. I don't like how low it is. Let me look at a couple things real quick. I have it exactly centered. I probably don't want it exactly centered. I probably want it just north of center. So if I go here and look at the original position is 274 on a window size of 648. And the size of this window is 100. So I'm guessing it is, oh, actually it is exactly half. So 274, no, to 648. So that's 548. So plus 100. So it's actually subtracts 100, just like this. Huh. Which is interesting because I wouldn't have expected that. But ultimately it's because the size is 200 by 100, I'm guessing. You know, that's not right. So it must be 50. Maybe I did the math wrong. I mean, it is getting pretty late. All right, let's see if that works better here. Yes. That looks pretty good. Okay. That looks good. We can resize our window now without breaking everything. These other ones should be a lot easier. The one in the center was the hardest. Great. Fantastic. Yeah, much better. Okay. Looks good. Let's go on to the next one. So the next one then is this target info. That's the little diagram down the bottom left. Scroll my window down a little bit. Oops. Oh my goodness. OBS. So many lock-ons. All right. Gotta hold control. All right. So now I'm gonna do the one in this bottom left area over there, right down here. So ultimately this should be pretty easy. We'd do the same thing. And I've already copied the code over from the last time we did this. Let me actually, I think it's gonna be a little closer to this one. Let me actually take this one instead. Ultimately, it just needs to go in from the left side instead of the right side. So I think all I have to really do is change this to offset left. And I'm not sure if that needs to be a positive or negative. I'm assuming it needs to be a negative number. That's my assumption. So we'll see. Is that all I need to do? Oh, and then I need to update these to essentially call out the tweens. Okay. So this one's easy again. All I have to do is, if it says play backwards, it needs to be false. If it says play forwards, it needs to be true. So that's pretty easy. Okay, play backwards is false. Play forwards is true. All right. And then play backwards is false. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close this just so I can get a refresh. let's run this. So now when I start this up, all those screen elements should be gone. Let's see what happens. Okay, yep. And now when I, oh, interesting. Still there. Maybe that's not that interesting. Oh, it's just the container. Did I do it on the wrong thing? No, I did it on target info. But yeah, okay. So there's two things going on here. One is target info. Is there a different one? Interesting. What is this then? Let me go here. Let me move this out of the way. All right, let's move this. Yeah, so it's not like there's another thing. What in the world? Why? Huh. Okay. Another weird problem. I mean, there's obviously not anything in the way. Like if I move target info out of the way, oops. If I move target info out of the way, it's just gone. I've never used Game Maker Studio, so I don't know much about it. Hey, Potato Games, how's it going? So yeah, I couldn't tell you about Game Maker Studio at all. I like Godot's kind of node system. It's very much like object-oriented coding, which I really like. It's very familiar if you've ever used like Python or anything else. I've been doing GDScript, which is what this is, for a few months now, and I like it a lot. Having never used Game Maker Studio or even I've seen a couple games made in Game Maker Studio and they look fine. But yeah, having not coded in it, it's hard to answer that. I am having a pretty productive day. I'm getting rid of animations and replacing them with tweens. The problem is weird stuff like this where, like, I feel like this should be a lot simpler than it is ultimately. It's coming along. It's just taking a little longer than I thought. I will show you this though. So while we're ignore the top bar, right? And then whenever the right bar comes up, which it ultimately did, so you can see the little box in the bottom left. That's what the weird thing is, because if I do that, see, it slides in still. It just stays there. I need to figure out where that's coming from. But ultimately, this is looking pretty good. I'll show you some magic. So the way I have this set up is on your sword. So right now, I've got two weapons. And I don't know why she's facing left either. That's strange. But so I've got two weapons, right? I've got this. It's because I went to attack away. I've got my staff. I've got my sword. When you have the staff out, you have black magic. When you have the sword, you have sword skills. And then on the sword class is going to be all about, I think, giving yourself buffs, like more of a support side, right? And debuffing the enemy. And so like I have where I can do this burning blade thing, right? And what burning blade does, we'll go ahead and cast the spell real quick. And I'll go ahead and on this side, I'll cast the light one because the light one looks sick. So ultimately, and then we'll just wait with her. So yeah, so that's looking pretty good. I like how that's looking. And then what happens is that buffs your character. So now like I've got the attack from that just set like stupid high. So ultimately now she does like 110 damage to that. And then I've got this other skill that is like target leg, right? That reduces movement, which is pretty cool. So I'm starting to work kind of some of the classes. Still a lot of work to go, but like ultimately it is pretty cool being able to buff and just turn super strong. And the weapons look sweet when you do that. So yeah, so now she's debuffed a little bit, so her movement's decreased. But yeah, it's coming pretty good. So it's like a drag and drop block coding. Okay, yeah. Talk to Potato Games about Game Maker, and he's Potato Games is fantastic. I don't know if they also stream on YouTube, but yeah, ultimately pretty good. So, but yeah, so this is coming along pretty well. I I got to figure out what's going on with that bottom left block. But ultimately, I do like how this is looking, and I like the sky effects when you cast magic. All right, back to, I'm gonna do this one more time. All right. Yeah, and I'm starting to get the animations cleaned up a little bit, starting to make things look a little prettier, I guess, right? Which is nice. Like, I love the weapon effects there. Like, I think that looks good. And starting to get some status effects and things. It's getting a lot less generic. I think it's actually fun to play now, which is cool. I'm getting to that point. So, but very cool. Yeah, well, shout out to Potato Games. I guess it's Potatoes Games, which I never realized. I always thought it was Potato Games. So I apologize. I've called you Potato Games for the last several months. I have to add the S. Potatoes Games. I know. What was I doing? Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I want to figure out what's going on. I'm going to reset that up, back up again. Got to figure out what's going on with that bottom left square. Doesn't make sense to me because I don't really have anything that the bottom left square could be necessarily. I think when the game first starts, it's gone, and then it shows back up. I will. Okay, so no, it is there, but ultimately, yeah, when I attack, like, it definitely slides in. The slide in works, and the slide in looks great, right? But I don't think I have, like, this right here, this UI control. If I can put that up where you can see it. This UI control covers the whole screen, right? So it's not going to be impacting or behaving like that is. But ultimately, yeah, it's like I'm stretching it, which actually that's probably the case. Okay. I think that's the case. I'm using this offset parameter, and it worked really well on the right. So ultimately, I think all I have to do is, so I'm anchored to the bottom left. Okay, I think I'm understanding this now. What I should do, and I don't know if I have the ability to do this. All right, yeah, get your lurk on. Ultimately, I probably just need to adjust position instead of this. Yeah, I do this just as a hobby, Zed. I'm a full-time engineer. So this is just a de-stressing hobby. Try to do it a couple hours almost every night, and then stream when I can. Ultimately, if I have something that I stream Wednesday and Friday nights, and then if I'm doing something else throughout the week that's not super intensive, I'll stream. But a lot of times I can't make progress as fast streaming, right? But it is more fun. And like, I get some good ideas. Like, the community really has great ideas. So like, I want to try to stream as much as possible. But you know, with a full-time job, it is hard to, like, I don't want all of my hobby time streaming because it does take a lot more out of you, right? And I have 2 kids, so I need to conserve energy a little bit. Okay, this is pretty easy. Then I need to stop using offset. I think I'm realizing that offset actually changes the size of the container you're modifying in a lot of situations. Oh, my computer is acting up. Okay. So, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to close. I think my game doesn't like how much I've hot started it. Okay, that's much better. All right, so let me, instead of this, what I should do is it'd be pretty, yeah. Nah, it's honestly pretty good. I like problem solving. And this is a pretty good de-stressing problem solving for me. In this case, actually, because I'm going off the left side, this should work pretty well. So yeah, I think that's all I need to do. I am going to go ahead and on this one, do the same thing. Yeah. So I'm in rocket development. So my day job is a lot higher stakes. This is like low stakes area to make mistakes and like fight through code. So I like this. It's much more chill. Definitely. And then, usually I can work through problems relatively fast. And then you feel good, right? I think that's the big thing. Thanks. Appreciate it, Zed. I appreciate it. Best luck to you too. If that's something you're interested in and want to get into game development, I think it's absolutely worth it. But yeah, I think finding like low stress environments where you can challenge yourself and solve problems just feels good, right? Because you're going through trying to do a difficult task, and when you actually do that task, it's huge, and it feels really good. Let's see. So I think on this, all I need to do is like right side equals get viewport rect dot end dot x. Now I think I need a function there. So that's going to be the right side of the viewport, and then I take for slide distance equals right side, and then slide distance. Let's see, and then I guess I need to know the offset. So this is going to be 1152 offset to 678. It's a pretty big window, that's why. So right side equals that. I can subtract 474, which is, I guess I should subtract, what I should subtract is the size, right? Size dot x. And I think that would do it. Now, I'm curious if size is a function or if size is a property. And I guess that's pretty easy to determine. Just go look at the documentation. And let's see. Oh, interesting. Okay, so I would just go to container. Just work my way back. Container. Nope. Let's just do a search. Size. And let's see. Get size. We're getting close. Getting closer. Man, there are a lot of functions in Godot that have the name size. Let's see. Oh, we're getting close here. Maybe. Okay. Yay, size. First try. Okay, so ultimately, I should probably use get size. All of that for that. Okay. Walk back through this whole mess. Minus get size dot x. Okay. So that should be the right side position. And then what I would do is right side, and then this would be slide distance equals right side plus slide constant. Perfect. So ultimately then what I'm doing is just sliding this out from its current position to wherever I decide. So let's check this out and see how it's working. I've got pretty high confidence here. Yeah, the left side ones are a little easier because they all center at 0. And this isn't hard. I just have to calculate the right side of the viewport and then push things off the edge. Oh, sweet. Ah, very, very cool. Yeah. Actually, Potatoes Games also does comics. So, yeah. Okay, that works pretty well. So ultimately, first try, we got it. So yeah, very, very cool. Nice. I think, oh, interesting. It does push a little bit when I do that. It's okay. I can fix that later. Yeah, with a team, it would be a little bit, I think it'd be hard for sure. A lot of it is because if you're working full time, it's just hard, one, to make a lot of progress. My two brothers are working on a different game and they're working as a team. And I just feel like it would be challenging to work together and make decisions. I think the way you move fast in anything is make quick decisions. So being able to just say, hey, yep, this is the decision we're making. This is the way we're going. is super important. Like a lot of tech companies nowadays, like their main goals are, hey, I want to be the most decisive company in existence. The way you get there is you push decisions down. So in terms of like solo dev, right, there's nowhere to push decisions down to. You can just make a decision and go, which is great. But yeah, working with a team I think would be really hard. What kind of art are you learning? That sounds interesting. Art I think is one of the areas need some help in. I'm still kind of learning. I'm pretty good with tools. So like I did the grass in Blender. These guys are actually made in a program called Vroid, where I can essentially design the character. They won't look like most Vroid characters you see because I essentially modified a lot of the textures, but I think my love of tools is helping me a little bit in the art department. But yeah, getting there. Okay, but let's go back to Tweens. So ultimately that looks really good, and so now I can change the size of things, right? And I don't break anything. I will probably want to modify window sizes, but I think that's gonna be an option, right? I think you'll say, hey, how big do you want your text? So there we go. We'll do that real quick. Okay, so let's see. So ultimately, that looks great. That looks great. This top bar, I think the top bar, I'm actually gonna be a little, okay, so that means I can delete this animation player. It's probably gonna glitch on me. We'll see. Okay, top bar here, which is just this one. I think I can make this really, really simple. And that's essentially, let's move this out of the way so you can see the code. Everywhere it's slide out, I think I just want to set visible equals false. And where it's, so let's see, so for backwards, so for play is visible equals false. And then I want forwards to be visible equals true. Other way around, but this one I think can just pop up. I don't think it's too bad in terms of needing to like actually have it do things. Okay, that's saved. Let's see if this responds well. Let's make this a little bigger here. Okay. Okay. So let's see. Now let's cast a spell. All right. Man, it does not like being hot swapped. Let me reset Godot. It's a feature. So Godot has this feature. The reason it keeps slowing down. Godot has this feature where you can actually update your code live. It works really well for testing things out. However, my code does get really slow when I use it. And I think it's probably, I mean, it probably makes sense. It's probably like loading it into memory or something. And it probably becomes bloated. Okay, so that looks pretty good. It's not there. Okay. Let's see. So far, so good. Menus are popping up like they should. Everything looks pretty smooth. Okay. Let's change to my sword here. And then let's do poison. The poison one looks pretty cool. Okay. So now, and then another little feature here. Notice the sky. Every time someone's casting a spell, time speeds up by 2, which is pretty cool. So and the clouds get darker. Just a fun little thing. There's the moon. Okay, cool. So that looks pretty good. Everything's popping up. I think it just popping up is good. I don't think it needs to fade in like everything else. I do need to edit the theme. So this is all like the standard Godot's theme. That's why it's just like gray, opaque background. But ultimately, we'll do a whole lot more. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Did I replace all of the tweens? Or all the animation players? I think so. So that was a lot of work. The real reason I wanted to do that was so I could start resizing my window a little bit. because I do want to get into game tests, like game testing. In order to do that, everyone's going to have different monitor sizes, so I'm starting to prep for that. Let me share my Discord. That's where I'm going to be pulling playtesters from. If you are interested in playtesting, feel free to join my Discord and ask questions in there. Let me see, did that pop up? I didn't get the response back on my end. Let me check real quick. One moment. Oh, weird. Oh, my bot is broken. That's okay. Let me just grab the link so I can share it. Oh, bots. It's fine. So you learned anatomy, working. Oh, very cool. Nice. Yeah, actually learning art, I'm sure, is extremely useful. I've definitely watched a lot of videos on, how does this supposed to, best way to do this. What are the things you should pay attention to? Because like I said, art's not my forte here. I'm just gonna grab this. Perfect. And then I'm gonna share that with y'all. All right. So, yeah, it's probably super useful. Like things like contrasting colors are so important in a game. Definitely something I'm still learning. But yeah, no, super good skill, definitely. Okay, with that, I think that was my main goal for today. So I did finish up. I got all of the victory screen, game over screen, and flash screen. I want they can stay animation players. The other things I really wanted were those. So tweens are super powerful. I haven't used them yet, but they are really powerful in terms of like quick animations and dynamic animations. The animation window is good when you have a very set thing that you want to happen. So ultimately still learning a lot of that stuff, but it's coming along. So this is my first time using tweens. With that, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start closing up. I'm actually pretty tired. But yeah, thanks for making a Discord account. Let me see. I'll try to find someone to raid here. I'll do a little quick play session just real quick to kind of show off some stuff. Have made a lot of progress in the game. I think I talked through a little bit. I added status effects, so every time, like with the weapons here, they actually have impact. I think the real thing they're doing is just adding like extra damage. So not like a ton of impact, but they are adding impact. Some are better than others. I do have some other skills, like I can do some debuffs. And so ultimately I want each weapon to kind of feel like a different class. I mean, that's ultimately what it is. You'll have a lot of customizability. You'll be able to bring two weapons with you into a round that each have different skills associated with them. And then you'll have something called a title. And your title sets your expertise, maybe. It's kind of like your class. Essentially, you'll unlock titles throughout the game. Maybe if you're casting certain spells or you're making progress on the storyline. Whatever it is, you will get certain titles that will allow you to deal more damage or change your speed, right? Just a bonus to certain areas. So ultimately, those titles, you'd be able to set one, you'd be able to have two weapons. So you'll be very customizable in terms of like what you can do and be able to customize your character. The characters, the weapons will also obviously have different stats. So, yeah, there will be a lot to go, and it's just now starting to get fun because I have like stats, debuffs. I think I'm going to lean a lot more into that. It's like one thing I need to do still. Right now, I can only do target leg, and that's a glitch, obviously. I can only do target leg, but I have a lot more spells than that, so I need to cycle through. That's probably what I'll do next time. Is just cycle through that. And I'll work on some of the animations. So yeah, so basically I'm just debuffing her. I've got her set where she's got like 1,000 health. So, oh, that's interesting. Oh, I think I set Alara's. That's really, I don't know why Alara's attack is set so high, but it's fine. So yeah, there's gonna be some balancing. Hey, appreciate it. Good night. I'm sure it's a lot of fun. Yeah. Well, hope you have a good day at work, and hopefully that goes well, and hopefully your classes are going well. So, but yeah, ultimately this is what gameplay looks like, though. It's got a long way to go. I don't know why Alara is so powerful, but obviously if you're playing the game, that's the trick, is just use Alara. But there's gonna be a lot of flexibility here as I kind of work through the system. So I need to think through like what each class does or what each weapon type, like what its specialty is, and I want to stick to that. I want to kind of keep things a little niche. That way you can really build out your character and be a little customizable. And then as you're kind of, you'll have to learn independently with each weapon in terms of abilities. So like you'll be learning these sword skills, right? Maybe you go learn the lightning shocking blade, which is basically a weapon power up. So maybe you learn that, right? And then you learn at a certain point you learn like the powered up version of it. Ultimately, yeah, there's a lot of customizability there, and then you're going to also be learning the like sword skills that go with it. So there will be a tree, probably one tree for each weapon, and that tree will focus around the different elements. And then, for example, like black magic is going to be more on the area of effect side of things, right? While swords are probably more on the buff debuff side. Axes maybe more in just like raw power. I may have something that's more on the in terms of like tankiness. But yeah, it's ultimately coming along. So, well, thanks for hanging out. I am gonna go ahead and find someone to raid now. But yeah, no, this is good stream. Got a lot done here. We now have mastered Tweens, so that's fantastic news. Let's see. On the Twitch side, I'll raid somebody. On the YouTube side, I don't know how to raid somebody. It may be possible. But I'm gonna raid since we've been talking about them. I think once you get into it, right, it'll be less to keep track of. It's ultimately a strategy game, like a tactical RPG, like Final Fantasy Tactics. So, you know, it'll take a little bit of learning. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and raid Potatoes Games since we've been talking about it. He's doing some painting. We'll give him a hey guys there in the chat, and we'll talk soon. Thanks everybody.